My first original viral video I wrote in an IO Chicago improv class.
Oh my, I can't believe this connection that we have.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
That's why we're vibing so well, because I'm just like, yes, and yes.
Yes,
and.
yeah, you're a yes-ander. We all know this.
It's a good day for a good day. Sending big love in a big way, yes.
How many people do you know are on the Forbes 30 under 30 list? Well, you're about to meet one of the nicest ones. Grady Rains is on the podcast.
I think nicest is the best way to categorize me on this list.
Was it the list the nicest people in Hollywood?
Yeah, if you had to categorize me on everyone else, I think I can take home nicest.
Nicest,
most,
not gaming,
right?
But nicest.
Not most
you're right
successful, not most deserving, but I'm definitely a pretty nice guy.
You're a pretty nice guy, and that's an anomaly for Hollywood. To be honest with you, a lot of people don't associate nice guys winning and nice guys, coming in first, and nice guys being on Forbes lists.
It's even surreal to be like that. I'm in Hollywood. I don't feel. I mean, I am in Hollywood.
You are in Hollywood.
I'm in like one of the coolest houses in Hollywood.
You are in one of the coolest houses
right
in Hollywood.
now.
Yes,
but when I met you all that time ago, I was like, it's weird to say I'm a part of Hollywood now. I guess.
Isn't that funny? Now you're from Ohio. Where in Ohio are you from?
I'm from Akron, Ohio, LeBron land.
Is that the capital of Ohio?
It should be. It absolutely should be. But the capital of Ohio is Columbus.
It is Columbus, Ohio. I just was checking to see if you knew that.
Yeah.
But it's where Shaq's from?
Shaq? No, LeBron James.
LeBron James.
But Shaq did play in Cleveland. And actually, funny enough, speaking of Hollywood, being a kid from Cleveland, we didn't have any celebrities growing up.
Oh.
And so I'll always remember when Shaq moved into town, and we would all just go drive, like it was a thing. You'd go with your family, you'd go drive by his house.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
Everybody, it's Tuesday. Everybody get ready. Come on, get your clothes on. No, don't wear that. Okay, here we go. Come on, everybody. Get your blanket.
And you just look at the driveway and his Superman Hummer would be in there, and we'd just be like we'd all just kind of fist bump each other and go home and be like, thanks, Dad.
Man, he's here with us. He's an Akron. He's like an Akron like us. He's an Akron guy.
Exactly.
Wow. When I first met you, you were living with Mark Dohner, George Janko, Kylie Ray. What's her last name? Is that what she goes by? Kylie Ray? Yeah. You were with Kylie. You were with Kylie, whatever her last name. Could be Jenner, but but how did you get into that house? Because I was like besties with George.
Dude, that was such a crazy season of my life. So I was making, speaking of being from Cleveland, from Akron, I was making videos about Cleveland sports teams. That's how I started. So I was a big sports guy, really into the Cleveland teams. And I started my content journey creating those videos about Cleveland sports. Yeah. And then I went to high school with Mark Dohner.
Okay.
And Mark Dohner for like 3 or 4 years had been doing stuff with this guy, Logan Paul at the time. And that's like, that's how people knew him at the time. Like, he was like, you know that guy? Like,
was he a camera guy for him?
Yeah, he's a camera guy.
He was a camera guy for Logan, yeah.
Yeah, but he was like a legit, like camera guy doesn't do it justice.
No, it doesn't.
He was a creative director. And then the way he made the videos, it helped Logan's videos really stand out. He was like one of the first of its kind, young predator guys that was blowing people up. So anyways, knew him from high school. He saw what I was doing and just saw that I was making content. And he said, yo, you should move out to LA with me. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So I moved out to LA and that's when I met George and and Kylie and you.
It's so funny because like that seemed like, and that's a success story, you know? Like I remember when I was in college, there was a guy that I was a friend of mine. And he's like, hey, man, what are you going to do after you leave college? I'm like, I'm going to go to Chicago and do comedy. He's like, dude, let's do it together. I'm like, all right. So we started planning to move to Chicago together. Right. And the day, we graduate with all this stuff. Now we're all set. We're going to go put our money down in a house in Chicago. And so we rent a car in New York and we drive to Chicago. We're singing. We're doing all these fun things all the way there. We pull up to the building. Okay, man, let's go. And he's like, I don't think I can do it, man.
What? He just bailed on you?
I'm like, what are you talking about? We just drove all this way. He goes, yeah, and I had a conversation with my father last night before we left, and he don't think I should move out. I'm like, you tell me now? We just drove from New York to Chicago.
We sang Send Me On My Way together.
I said, what do you think was going to happen? You were going to be at a comedy show, and some of the guys going to be like, you need to be on the stage here? And he's like, kind of. So needless to say, that was a waste. But I still stayed there. I moved there with my girlfriend at the time. But yours is more of a success story.
I have Chicago roots though too.
Really?
Remember that? Yeah. So I went to Second City Comedy School. Graduate from IO, my most prestigious degree that I have.
Wait a minute. Do you know that I was on the main stage of IO for my 5th week for 4.5 years?
No way.
I was on the main team, the house team at Improv Olympic.
With that woman who runs
Sharna Halpern.
Yeah.
Sharna's, yes.
And her dogs.
Yes, and her dogs, yes. Oh my God, that's so, I've known you for all these years, never knew that.
Yep. Yeah,
Wow.
I was a graduate from there. I never performed, but that's because I was taking a class at Second City. I was taking a class at IO, and it was like a writing class, and I wrote a script for a cold open for SNL.
Yeah.
That was about the Cleveland Cubs World Series, and I was like, I'm just gonna go film this. And so I filmed the script, and then it took off, and that's what happened. So
really?
Yeah, my first original viral video I wrote in an IO Chicago improv class.
Oh my, I can't believe this connection that we have.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
That's why we're vibing so well, because I'm just like, yes, and yes.
Yes,
and.
yeah, you're a yes-ander. We all know this. You know, she even I think she wrote a book called Yes and or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, the IO book. But wow. Oh my God. So when I first met you, were you working for NFL at the time, or you were about to work for NFL?
Yeah. So I moved out to the house, and I kind of had this realization where I was like, oh shoot, I don't think I'm like a teenage heartthrob like George and Mark were.
You didn't think you were a teenage heartthrob? Well, I don't know if this is the right moment or not, but I always felt you were, Grady. But
I don't know. I was just like, I don't know if I'm the right fit for this, man. And I started making these vlogs and stuff, and it was doing okay, but I don't know. It didn't really feel like me. And so I was like, you know what? I got to figure something out while I'm down here. I don't want to move back. Just kind of trying to take it step by step, whatever opportunities came up. And there's a guy that I had been emailing since I met in college. I met him through a friend of a friend, and I just told someone, hey, I want to be a comedy writer when I grow up. And he was like, okay, cool. My dad's a comedy writer. So I would just email him like every 3 months. Hey, I did this today. I had this today. You know, this video went viral. And then finally, after 2 years of just emailing this guy and him just being like, cool, like, thanks for the update. I was like, hey, I'm in LA and I need a job. And then he was like, well, come on in. I work at the NFL now. Come on in my office. He didn't say he was going to give me a job or anything. And then I showed up and he said, okay, you have an interview right now for a position on the social media team. And I was like, okay, great. And I went in and I got the job. And
wow.
Yeah, I worked at NFL for a season.
Did you, what was your social media following at the time?
Oh, I think I had less than 100,000 followers, but I had about 50. I had about 50 or 60,000 followers, and I was growing.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but it wasn't enough to be like, oh, I'm going to make this my full-time job. I needed money still.
Right. You still needed money.
So, and I think that's super important. Like a lot of people are like, I'm going to give it all up and go after my dream.
I don't care about money. I don't care about any of that.
It's like, well, just start, like maybe just do it for a few hours after work for a little bit until you get something figured out, and then go ahead and do it. So that was kind of my strategy. But.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know, because I mean, I didn't know. I thought that you learned from Mark's social media, but you were doing it before Mark.
Yes.
And all that kind of stuff. Okay.
And he was different than I was.
Yes.
And then when we linked up together, I think we both kind of realized that, where I was like, ooh, I think I have a different style.
Yeah.
And I tried to do his style, and it just didn't work for me personally, and he knew that. But yeah, he was always such a big supporter of me. And the coolest thing about Mark that you don't see a lot in Hollywood.
Yes.
That
yes.
We're here
in Hollywood. Let's pick on Hollywood right now. Go ahead.
Is that one time I overheard him in a conversation. He didn't know I was listening. Okay. But someone said to him, because I moved out, I had like 10, 20,000 followers when I moved out. And then I got to like 250, 300,000. I've lost some since. But he was in a conversation with someone, he didn't know I was listening. And they were like, wow, man, you really blew Grady up. That was cool. And he said, no, I didn't do any of that. That was all him.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Which is cool, because a lot of social media guys, I'm not saying, but some people maybe would take that credit when someone says that, especially if it's not within earshot of anyone they think.
Exactly. It's such a common thing to be like, yeah, dude, he totally blew up. You know, I did this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So it was cool for him to be like, no, he earned that. So I thought that was.
That's very, yeah, well, I've always liked Mark. He's always been a good guy to me, and I've always been a big fan. When did you get NRG Esports? When did you get that job?
Dude, so I was working at the NFL, and then I started making Fortnite Instagram content. So that's the most prestigious title I've ever held in my life. Fortnite Instagram influencer. Well, I'll have that written on my gravestone.
For the rest of your life. It'll be on your epitaph right there, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, okay.
So I was doing that while I was simultaneously working at the NFL. And that's when the season ended. I wasn't sure if I was going to come back for another NFL season. And someone hit me up and was like, hey, there's these co-owners of Sacramento Kings and Shaquille O'Neal, and they started an esports team. And they don't know what they're doing really, and they need someone who knows Fortnite and marketing. And I was like, okay, I think I'm the only one above the age of 16 with this knowledge.
Yes.
So I think you got to go with me. So they're like, okay, you're in. And then I got in there, and they had like 100,000 followers or something at the time. And then now they do like 1 billion views a month.
It's crazy.
So
That's crazy. Now, I know you went to school. You were taught English, did you not, for a little bit?
I was an English
Yes.
education major.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I was a substitute teacher.
Yeah, okay. So, but where did the marketing skills come in? How did you know about marketing?
Just learning through my personal Instagram stuff,
Okay.
and I've always been creative, and I just kind of learned how to do it on my own. But yeah, every now and then I'll get comments on my Instagram page, or if I'm doing a show for someone else, and they'll be like, dude, this guy was my substitute gym teacher.
Wow. You were there for 4 years at Energy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then when you had to end Energy Fortnite,
Yes.
did you cry?
I didn't cry.
You close with those guys with the
I didn't
team,
cry.
right?
Yeah, but it was emotional for sure. I really dedicated. What was cool about it is I felt like I had missed the wave a little bit on a generation that loved George, Mark, Logan, you know?
Right.
And they're still doing great now.
Sure, of course.
But there was definitely like this moment in time where they were all in the Vine apartments that like people
1600,
that people can point back to and say like, I remembered this.
Yes.
And like that was a part of my childhood. And so I feel like with that Fortnite team, there's people who still reach out to me where it's like, man, those 2 to 3 years in COVID when you guys were doing that was like my childhood.
That's true. I forgot it was during COVID also.
Yeah. So
Wow,
that's what was really special to me, is it was like I felt like I got to have a moment with like we created our own moment with that team.
Right.
And now everyone's gone on to do different stuff. But that's why I feel like it was not necessarily emotional because it was over, but because that moment was over. Like it was time to move on. Like the fans have kind of grown up. No one really played the game anymore.
They weren't playing as much.
So,
Yeah. When's the last time you played it?
Man, a long time.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, well, actually, I had a brand deal where I played it recently for a little bit, but besides that,
Really?
long time.
What is Full Squad Gaming? You founded that.
Yes.
Yes. Inside. So tell me about that thing, because that was an instant hit. You had crazy numbers.
Right. Dude, you've been doing your research.
Dude.
Man. Let's go. So when I had a bunch of success at Energy, I kind of went to the CEO and I was like, yo, I want to start my own company, or like one day I'm going to start my own company. It's going to be like this. It's going to kind of be like the Pat McAfee show. And it's going to be like a bar stool for gaming. And he was like, whoa, like, why don't you just do that here with me? And I was like, okay. So I went to the board and they were like, yeah, we'll fund it or whatever. And so ended up starting this brand that was more general gaming instead of esports. So esports is like ultra nerdy. You wouldn't really know any of those celebrities, but if you are in that culture, you like freak out about it.
You freak out if you see them.
Cult following, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, sure.
And when I use the word nerdy, I use that endearing because I also am a nerd.
Yes, and I can attest to this. Very nerdy guy. Yeah, so it's cool now, right? The nerd's the cool,
Exactly.
Cool nerd. Yeah.
So I made this brand and I called my best friend who I worked at the NFL with. I was like, yo, you want to start a company together? He was, sure. So we moved back from New York and LA. And we launched this company and we posted a TikTok, and within the first 48 hours, I think we had like 600,000 followers.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then
it's crazy.
Week 1, we hit 1 million. And then over a year, we grew it to like 10 to 12 million followers across platforms.
Wow.
So it was huge success. Super proud of it. Had to leave it behind to go do my own thing, but it was an awesome experience.
Didn't you guys you also were the brainchild giving away like PS5s and stuff like that?
Yes, we would really pride ourselves in the amount of PS5s we'd give away.
Well, you had a lot of partnerships. Is that what you credit a lot of the success to with that?
Yeah, I would say we just really understood how the algorithms worked, and we had been studying it for so long. I've been in digital media for so long, and I think it's different too because when you have your personal brand, like George and all those guys, building your personal brand can be a little bit different because you're like reinventing yourself or like trying to it's more artist driven. I think there's more of like an artist vibe. And when you're doing it for a brand, it's very performance, what works, how to make it work.
Yeah.
So that's where my brain was for all these years. So we just learned all of we call it at our new creative agency that we made, Cheat Code. Like, we kind of learned all the
I'm
cheat
gonna bring
codes.
that exactly.
Yeah.
I'm like that's for that knowledge that you and Ben started your own creative agency called Cheat Code Studios. Tell us about that.
So
that's a big thing.
That's where that comes from. Is the word cheat code? Is we feel like we have the cheat code to social media, where we've built all these brands. And so we started a creative agency because at Full Squad, it kind of got to a point where it felt like we were hustling and finding a bunch of different projects and doing a bunch of different stuff, but esports was just in a spot where like it wasn't really growing anymore.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And so we kind of felt like we needed to get out from the umbrella and do our own thing. And so now we work with all these different brands to help build different shows, to help blow up their social media accounts. We work with people who are really established. Like I have a podcast with House of Highlights, which is cool.
It's about hair?
It's about hair. Does it look good today?
You know,
dude, I found my haircut lady. Finally, she's incredible. I don't know her name, otherwise I'd give her a shout out. But man, why would I even reveal her?
Don't because I need one. Because as you can see, I'm due for a haircut myself. But I mean, I thought when you said highlights, I thought No. But,
Oh, highlights. Yeah, no, okay. That one flew over my head.
It's okay.
So anyways, where was that? Oh, so we work with all these different people.
Yeah.
And it's really fun, and I get to meet a lot of really cool people and do a lot of stuff. But I think at some point we'll be creating some of our own original brands as well, because we've helped blow up so many stuff, and I don't like really own anything anymore.
Right.
So at some point we'll want to start our own thing.
That makes sense. How would you help LINZanity? This podcast, what was the first thing you would say, Greg, you need to expand your social media presence by doing whatever?
I would say
by having you on the show?
You need to have me on the show. Great start. I would say you need to create the short form clip funnel into your long form podcast.
Does it work?
It works.
It works. So you don't get, I keep thinking that if I did a bunch of, because I do clips, but I do it for Instagram, but I haven't put them on YouTube and stuff. But I'm thinking like, I thought that people only will just do the, I have I have a limited amount of brain power. I just want to watch a clip. I don't want to watch a half-hour show. I want to watch a 30-second clip, 20-second clip.
So Bobby Altoff is the woman who interviewed Drake. And this was a perfect example of, I think there are probably 100 clips posted a day of Bobby Altoff's podcast on the TikTok platform. So she's probably going viral like 3 to 4 times a day on TikTok.
But she's got Drake.
Yeah, exactly. So you have me though.
I got you. So you may have Drake. I got Forbes 30 under 30. Yeah. Well, let me ask you about that. How did that come out? You got the 30 under 30.
Dude, people have hit me up and been like, "Did you pay for that?" And I'm like, "What, dude?
You don't pay for Forbes."
I was like, "I wish, man. I wish I could have just paid for it. That would have been way easier." But I just applied for it and said, "Hey, I feel like I'd be a fit." And then they're like, "Great, there's already a few people who have nominated you." And then they sent me another application, and I just shared what I had done in gaming. And then they never called me before I won.
Really? So, they did all their own research.
Yeah, and
like me.
And I didn't know that I was going to win. And I remember about a week before they announced it, I was talking to one of my friends, and he's like, "I think I'm going to go for Forbes 30 under 30 next year in music." And I was like, "Oh, cool. I'm doing that for gaming." He was like, "Great. Who's your publicist?" And I was like, myself.
I guess me?
I wrote like a Google Doc and I sent it to them. And he was like, "Oh, okay, good luck, man." He was like super nice, but he was like, "You're not going to get it." And then I woke up on the day of and the list had dropped. My wife was like, "Hey, the list just dropped. Did you want to check it out? Like maybe you're on it." And I was like, "No, they would have called me. I don't want to look at it." And she was like, "Well, just look at it." And I looked at it and I was like, "Oh my God." So it was
wow.
Cool.
I mean, that's surreal. Like, I mean, to be associated with that's prestigious.
Yeah, it's been
that and the go ahead.
I was just saying it's been a great calling card. So
that and the and your epitaph.
Yes.
Those two
Fortnite
things
Instagram
for the Instagram influencer. / Forbes 30 under 30. Dude, you're done.
Yeah.
You know what? You already topped out. You're married to your high school sweetheart also, did you not?
No, college
sweetheart,
college.
which is great. You guys were together for how long before you got married?
Man, like 7 years. And we survived Hollywood.
Living here and her living there also. How long was that for?
Well, that was for like 6 months. And I literally lived with the first verified ass on Instagram.
Really?
She lived across the hall from me.
Okay.
Daisy Keech.
Oh yes, Daisy.
She had the first verified but on Instagram.
I didn't realize that was.
It was like a doctor. It was like this whole viral thing. A doctor like verified that.
That she has a real ass and not a Brazilian butt.
And she got like millions of followers, and she's literally like I sleep here, she sleeps here, and my long distance girlfriend is in Chicago.
Right, that's a strong girlfriend to allow.
We made it through.
If you can make it through that, I mean, you got to give her props, man.
That's giving me a lot of credit. That like it sounds kind of arrogant that first verified butt would be into me. You know, I think maybe that's what she probably realized.
That's exactly. Yeah. She probably thought, listen, I don't have to worry about Grady because she's not gonna be. That's not gonna be her.
I don't think that butt's gonna be anywhere near a Fortnite Instagram. I think that's more like Leonardo DiCaprio territory.
Exactly. Wow. And now you have a kid also.
Got a kid, which is
your daughter.
Crazy how much I've grown up.
You're a father.
I am. I'm a father.
A husband, a father, a former Fortnite.
Dude, my mother-in-law is mad because I put it on my Instagram profile that I was like, dad, golfer, Forbes 30, and then I didn't say husband because I didn't think about it. I was like, I feel like if I'm a dad, then my husband, which always isn't the case, but she was like, well, you're a husband too, and I was like, oh god. So anyways, yeah, it's been crazy being a dad. It's been awesome to have a baby. I just don't sleep. That's pretty much what it is.
Good for you that you can get through without sleep. I need sleep.
Yeah.
Do you post now again? Do you miss doing skits and stuff?
Yes, I miss it a lot. I want to get back into it now that I have more time. And I think what I'm trying to do is we do a lot of really cool stuff with clients, and the House of Highlights podcast is great. And I love to, we're really going to blow that out of the water. And so I love being on camera there. And I want to try to find a new arena that I can be a creator in, because I don't really know what to make content about. I feel like I'm about to pull out a word that fits this room for a Hollywood writer.
Let's see if we use it correctly also.
I feel like a dilettante.
Okay, yes.
Where I have a bunch of different interests, but not one thing that I'm like specifically obsessed about. So because of that, I have a hard time landing on a content category that I want to.
I just figured it out.
What?
You know, you were going to give LINZanity. You told me what to do with LINZanity. I'm going to tell you what Grady Rains is going to do. This is the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Ready for this? You should hire me for your company. You are going to do skits with your daughter. Daddy and daughter. You're going to blow this thing up. You're going to put it on your Twitter. All these, is Twitter your favorite?
Yeah.
Start putting, I'm telling you, you and your daughter, it will blow things up and, oh my God.
Dude, I think I've always thought about that. And then I think what I would do is put a cutoff date, no matter what, that I would stop posting my daughter.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because I don't want to, no hate against family vlogger.
Oh, yeah.
That's the word. I'm looking for the word exploit.
But wait,
ruin.
But if you do it with, and the money that you guys get, you split and you start like a savings account.
And then I could be like a conservator of her.
That'd be great. Yeah, because I just literally saw Britney Spears the other day, like dancing with knives in the kitchen. But they're fake knives, they said afterwards, but I don't think they were fake, by the way.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little cover up.
Yeah, I think it was too.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I've thought about that before, but yeah, I would want to make sure that I don't exploit her in any way.
Yes, the dilettante doesn't want to exploit the daughter. Grady Rains, everybody! Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah,
I really appreciate all the support and everything, and keep going with the Cheat Code Studios.
Will do.
And everything else, my man. Thank you very much. Peace.
Peace.